Okay, now we will discuss with the second module, that is elastic properties of the material. First, we need to know what is elasticity. It is a property of a body due to which it regains its original shape and size when the deforming force is removed. Any body which is not free to move when acted upon by a suitable force undergoes a change in the form. This change is called deformation. The change could be either the shape or size or both. The elastic nature of the body is revealed after the force is removed. If the body comes back to initial state completely, it is called as a perfectly elastic. There are two types of elastic we are studying here. One is perfectly elastic, another one is perfectly plastic. Another one is perfectly plastic. If the body does not show any tendency of returning to its initial state and stays in the changed form, it is said to be perfectly plastic. Now, the second basic introduction we need to know here, that is the stress. Stress is defined as the restoring force per unit area developed inside the body is called as a stress. It is given by the ratio of applied force to the unit area. The force unit is Newton and area is the meter square. When we apply external force, the body changes its form because the molecule inside R is displaced from their previous position. While they are displaced, the molecule develop a tendency to come back to original position because of intermolecular binding force called restoring force. Now we need to study stress and strain. Stress is no. Now we will move on to the straining. What is a strain? The ratio of change in dimension to the original dimension is called strain. The strain can be defined in different ways. It is a ratio of change in dimension to the original dimension or change in length to the original length, depend upon the object what we have considered. Next, we all move on to the different types of stress and different types of the strain. The first one is longitudinal stress or tensile stress. It is the stretching force acting per unit area of the section of the solid acting is length. Or we can define it, the applied force per unit cross-sectional area gives the longitudinal or tensile stress. Now here we have considered as a uniform wire. Let us consider a wire whose dimension is similar to a wire. When the deforming force is applied to one end of its along the length, the force produces a linear strain. If F is a force applied normally to a cross-sectional area A, then we can define longitudinal stress. Stress equals force by area. That is equation number 1. Now we are discussing about the longitudinal strain or linear strain. If a force is applied at one end of the wire and other end is fixed, the wire undergoes a change in length. If x is the change in length and the original length is L, then according to the definition, change in length to the original length, you will get the equation x by L. That is the longitudinal strain. We can define it is a ratio of change in length to the original length is called longitudinal strain. This is a one type of stress and strain. Now we are move on to the second one, that is a volume stress or compressive stress. It is a uniform pressure acting normally all over the body. When the deforming force is applied normally and uniformly to the entire surface of a body, it produces a volume strain. Now the applied force per unit area gives the normal stress or pressure. If F is applied uniform and normally on the surface area, then we can define stress equals F by A. Here the uniform volume we have considered. This is surface of the volume is a V and the force applied equal in all the dimensions, that is F is a force. Now according to this one, we will define volume strain. Volume strain, it is the change in volume to the original volume is called volume strain. It is denoted by small v by capital V. Volume strain, change in volume by original volume. It is the change in volume to the original volume is called volume strain. Volume strain can be defined change in volume by original volume. Here small v is a change in volume and capital V is the original volume. This is the second type of the stress and strain. Now we will move on to the third one, that is a tangential stress or shear stress or tangential strain or shear strain. This one normally we are using in the rigidity modulus. It is a force acting tangentially per unit area on the surface of a body. It is a force acting tangentially per unit surface on the surface of a body is called tangential stress. We can define stress equals F by A. Now similarly, tangential strain, the ratio of change in dimension to the original dimension is called tangential strain. We know that strain equals X by L, that is the change in dimension is X and original dimension is L. Now we will move on to the next topic. There are different types of elastic moduli. The basic, first we are discussing about here Young's modulus. We can denote it by Young's modulus is Y. What is a Young's modulus? It is a ratio of longitudinal stress to the longitudinal strain within the elastic limit is called Young's modulus. It is denoted by Y. According to the definition, Young's modulus equals longitudinal stress by strain. We know that longitudinal stress is F by A and strain is X by L. Now the equation will get Young's modulus Y equals FL divided by AX and the unit is Newton per meter square. Here F is the applied force, A is the area of the section, L is the original length, X is the change in length. This is the first modulus we have discussed, that is the Young's modulus. Now second one is bulk modulus. What is the bulk modulus? The ratio of compressive stress to the volume strain without change in shape of the body within the elastic limit is called as a bulk modulus. It is denoted by K. According to the definition, bulk modulus equal compressive stress by volume strain. The stress, already the equation we know that F by A, and volume strain equals small v by capital V. Hence the equation will get Fv divided by Av and the unit will get Newton per meter square, where F represents the force and A is the area of the section. Capital V is the original volume and small v is the change in volume. This is the second type of modulus we have discussed here. Now the third one is the rigidity modulus. The rigidity modulus is defined as the ratio of tangential stress to the shearing strain. According to the definition, rigidity modulus, we can define the notation N equals tangential stress by tangential strain. Stress is F by A and strain is X by L. Hence the equation will get FL by AX and the unit is Newton per meter square, where F represents the force, A is the area of the section, L is the original length, X is the change in length. These are the three modulus we have discussed in this one. These are the basic elastic moduli we need to discuss here. First one is the Young's modulus, second one is bulk modulus, and third one is the rigidity modulus. Next, we will move on to the longitudinal strain coefficient or linear strain coefficient. The longitudinal strain produced per unit stress is called longitudinal strain coefficient. We know that longitudinal strain is X by L and T be the applied stress. Hence the longitudinal strain produced per applied stress, that's equal X by L. According to the definition, alpha equals longitudinal strain produced per unit stress, that's equal X by L divided by T. Hence the equation will get alpha equals X divided by LT. Here the linear strain coefficient or longitudinal strain coefficient denoted by a letter alpha. Now second one we have discussed here, lateral strain coefficient denoted by a letter beta. Lateral strain produced per unit stress is called lateral strain coefficient. We know that lateral strain equals small d divided by capital D. Here change in dimension to the original dimension or change in diameter to the original diameter. Change in diameter is small d and original diameter is capital D. And the applied stress is T. And the lateral strain produced for the applied stress T equals small d divided by capital D. Therefore, here beta equals lateral strain produced per unit stress small d divided by D whole divided by T. Hence the equation will get beta equals D divided by dt. This is the lateral strain coefficient. By knowing the linear strain coefficient and lateral strain coefficient, now we are discussing about the Poisson's ratio. What is the Poisson's ratio? It is a ratio of lateral strain to the longitudinal strain is constant within the elastic limit is called Poisson's ratio. I will repeat once again. The ratio of lateral strain to the longitudinal strain is constant within the elastic limit is called Poisson's ratio. It is represented as sigma. Now, according to the definition, sigma equals lateral strain by longitudinal strain. We already know lateral strain, small d divided by capital D, and longitudinal strain is x divided by L. Hence, the equation you will get sigma equals LD divided by XD. It is a pure number. There is no unit. Now, further, if we simplify, we know that beta by alpha. Beta is the lateral strain coefficient, alpha is the longitudinal strain coefficient. Beta by alpha equals d divided by td and x by tl. And beta by alpha equals ld divided by xd. We know that the Poisson's ratio, sigma equals ld divided by xd. Hence, the equation you will get Poisson's ratio alpha equals beta by alpha. Sigma equals beta divided by alpha. This is the relation between Poisson's ratio. It's the ratio of lateral strain to the longitudinal strain within the elastic limit. Is it clear now? Beta by alpha equals LD divided by XD. We know that sigma equals LD divided by XD. Hence, the equation we will get sigma equals beta by alpha. Now, in this second module, that's the elastic properties of the materials. The basic introduction part we have discussed. In this one, the stress and strain diagram we need to study. Based upon that one, the Hooke's law we will explain. What is the statement of Hooke's law? The fundamental law was given by Robert Hooke in the year 1679. What is the statement of Hooke's law means? The stress is directly proportional to strain within the elastic limit. The stress is directly proportional to strain within the elastic limit is called as a Hooke's law. Now, according to the definition, stress by strain equals constant. The constant we will consider here E. E is the elastic constant or elastic moduli. Now, by observing this graph, the stress versus strain plot a metallic wire or a rod will as shown in the figure. Now, we will discuss point by point in the Hooke's law how the stress versus strain can be related in this diagram. Here we have marked as a different points, different marks on the curve. That's a O, P, Q, R, X, and S. Now, first we will discuss with the OP. Here the OP is the portion of the linearity where stress is directly proportional to strain. Where the straighten we got it from O to P, that portion we have considered as a linearity where the stress is directly proportional to strain. This is the only region of the plot where the Hooke's law could be valid. Now, the body continues to exhibit perfect elastic property even up to the point Q. From O to Q, there is a perfect elastic will be there, but linearity we will get only O to P. The curve will be retraced if the applied force is removed at any point even between P and Q. However, the linear dependency between stress and strain is not observed in this portion. The points between P and Q are the proportionality limit or the elastic limit. Proportionality limit or the elastic limit. Now, by knowing the elastic limit of the material, one can find the maximum deforming force that the body can be subjected to without undergoing permanent deformation. Now we need to know what is the deforming force. Deforming force is the force that can produce a change in either the shape or size or both in the given body. Here Q is the yield point. Here Q is the yield point. Now, at any point between Q and S, the body fails to regain its original length if the applied force is removed but traverse the dashed line. In the graph we have shown as a dashed line. The material is said to be a permanent such. That is deformation is called plastic deformation. We will denote a letter S. The deforming force the deformation becomes large enough to pull the molecule far apart so that the binding force breaks, and beyond S the body is no more a single piece. Here S is called as a fracture point. Between Q and S, it is the plastic range. This is subdivided into two regions named as strain hardening and strain softening, and X is the peak point on the curve. Now Q to X is the strain hardening and X to S is the strain softening. Thank you.